Hey fam, what's good? What's good? I hope that you're all well and keeping safe. I hope that you all had an amazing week. I hope that you all had an amazing weekend as well. So listen, since this is my actual birthday week, my birthday is on the 22nd. I thought that, you know what? Why not share a little bit more than just a breakdown with you guys, right? So I'm gonna find myself giving you guys a little online session which I had, a private online session which I had, and you know what, you can either take it as educational or not, right? Remember, we all are entitled of our own opinions. This is just my opinion. This is how I look at things. You know what, we covered the DXY plus a little bit more, covering the dollar, right? So yeah, like I said, we all are entitled of our own opinions. And another thing, you know what, since we are partnered up with XM, please don't find yourself missing out on those beautiful promotions that is currently running. You can find yourself winning some tangible goods. You know what, you can find yourself winning an initial Mercedes Benz. You can find yourself winning an iPhone 14. You can find yourself winning an Omega watch. You know, these amazing cash prizes as well. You can even find yourself topping up your actual account with a whole $50. So don't find yourself missing out. The link will be in my description. So find yourself clicking on that link, open your account, and find yourself trading to get yourself into those actual registration boxes. Okay, so I hope you guys is gonna enjoy the following content. You know what, I would like to hear what is your feedback, so please do hit it in the comment section. You know what, if you're gonna find yourself loving this content, find yourself hitting that like button, and if you are new to this channel, find yourself hitting that sub button. I will highly appreciate it. Okay, I'll highly appreciate it. So listen guys, I'm gonna see you in the next one. Enjoy the content. I'm out. This is literally the cleanest, the simplest way to explain the DXY versus, you know what, NASDAQ, right? Now, basically, you must probably have wondered, Diego, how is it that you call out a buy? How is it that you call out a sell whatsoever, right? And that indicator is literally our DXY. Okay, it's literally our DXY. Now, keep in mind, I basically made mention that, you know what, the DXY is inverse correlated with our trading pair, NASDAQ. Okay. Now check this out. I'm going to put the NASDAQ above, and I'm going to put the DXY below. Daily time frame. This one below. Daily time frame as well. Okay. Daily time frame as well. Now check this out. This is today's candle, Wednesday. This was yesterday. This was Monday, right? Now on Monday, we basically called out, you know what? Well, on Sunday, we basically called out that we want NASDAQ to push towards the upside, right? We wanted NASDAQ to push towards the upside. Now, Diego, why were you so confident that, you know what, NASDAQ will push towards the upside, right? Ignore all the confluence I basically told you guys, right? All the confluences, just ignore that for just a second, okay? Just a second, ignore that. So if we're basically going to find ourselves looking at the DXY, which is this one below, right? This candle over here was Monday. Okay, this candle over here was Monday. Tuesday, today's candle. Now check this out. Now check this out. I'm going to make it 1. I'm going to make it 1. Now check this out. Can you see that on the DXY, right? We had this beautiful little gap over here. Now keep in mind, like I basically told you guys, these gaps, they are also serving as areas of support. They are also serving as areas of resistance, right? We basically had a beautiful high over here. We had a beautiful high over here. Now, can you see price literally took out that high and we had a huge move towards the downside, right? We had a huge shift back towards the downside. Now, with us basically having this huge move towards the downside over here, if I can maybe just use the replay button, just like this. With us basically having this move towards the downside, taking out an initial high, right? After taking out a high, what is rule number 2? Rule number 2 is we want to look for price taking out a swing low as well. Can you see we had a swing low over here? Right? We had a swing low over here. And we basically took out this swing low over there. Whether you want to look at this one as well, right? We basically took out that swing low. So in my mind, I was like, okay, cool. Right? If the DXY is going to go up, this simply means that the dollar, well, NASDAQ will go down. Now, can you see price literally created a beautiful gap over here as well, right? Price literally created a beautiful gap over here. Now, if you're going to go back to our session on Sunday, I basically made mention that, you know what, we can have some sort of a downside potential before having some sort of an actual upside potential. And this is why you need to read volume, right? You're not going to inverse if your actual dollar index is showing that, you know what, we have a BOB whatsoever, you're just going to react off it and you're just going to enter. No, you need to look at the volume, right? Plus, you can't trade the DXY, by the way. You can't trade it, right? But you need to look at the volume, where price is heading. Okay, where price is heading. So my understanding was that, you know what, we're going to have a push towards the upside, and then we're going to have an overall dip back towards the downside. So with us having a push towards the upside, NASDAQ is inverse correlating. This simply means that, you know what, NASDAQ is going to go down a little bit. And when we're going to have the push towards the downside, what do you think what is going to happen on NASDAQ? What do you think what's going to happen if we're going to go down on the DXY?
NASDAQ and up.
If we're going to go down, NASDAQ is going up.
Up.
Simple, and keep it simple. Don't complicate it. Keep it simple, right? Keep it simple. Now, if we basically can, you know what, just look at price over here of what we basically created, right? We can basically see, if I can go to the H4 time frame, why was I so confident with looking for those selling opportunities towards the downside over the course of today even? Check this out. Check this out. Can you see price basically took out this beautiful low over there? You see that? Now, like I basically made mention to you guys, if you want to find yourself having an overall move towards the upside, right? What is the pattern you need to find yourself looking out for? You need to look out for something like this, move up, break below, and then a move up. And you know what? Inside this area, this is where you want to find yourself looking for overall buying opportunities, right? Overall buying opportunities. So what is the rules? What's the rule for buying opportunities? You first want to see a low being taken out, as we did over there. Rule number 1, a swing low being taken out. Rule number 2, we want to see a swing high being taken out. This area over there. Can you see we did that? Right over there. Right? We took out that actual swing high over there. Now that was already a signal that, you know what, we are going to go towards the upside. With us having a break above. So with DXY giving us that buy signal already, what do you think what is going to happen if DXY is going towards the upside? What do you think what's going to happen on NASDAQ? Downside, right? Downside. Can you see we had some beautiful displacement towards the upside, right? What is rule number 3? Rule number 3 is to go find yourself looking for displacements within this actual area, right? From your actual swing low to your swing high, from your swing low to your swing high, right? You want to look for displacement, and we can see that we do have a beautiful, you know what, we do have a beautiful fair value gap over here. We also had this beautiful BOB over there, which we basically tapped, and we had a huge move towards the upside. But nonetheless, we also do have a beautiful area of demand over here, untested. So this simply means that, you know what, we still need to see some downside potential, right? So with me saying that the DXY is still needs to come down. What do you think was going to happen on NASDAQ?
Upside.
So let's go to NASDAQ. Let's see if we can basically, you know what, see somewhat of a correlation. I'm going to keep the DXY above and I'm going to keep NASDAQ here below. Okay. So I'm going to go to the H4 time frame as well. Clean. If I can maybe do this. You need to make notes of these things as well, okay? So let's look at NASDAQ. Why Diego decided on taking this selling momentum towards the downside? Why? Now check this out. You can find yourself watching yesterday's breakdown to why I basically took the short from this area over here. I still took this area into consideration. I still took this fake out into consideration. I saw that we are failing to break above this area, so I'm gonna take advantage of it. So like I just made mention over here on the H4 time frame on our DXY, can you see we basically took out this low over there? Now let's look at NASDAQ. What happened over the course of, well, over the course of today with NASDAQ? Can you see this candle over here? What is that? That's our swing high, right? Swing high. If we want some sort of a selling opportunity, this is not what we're going to find ourselves looking for. Okay. Some like this, well, up, some like that, boom, like this, right? This is basically what we want to find ourselves looking for. If I can do this, maybe, bang. Okay, for selling, this is basically what we want to find ourselves looking for. Rule number one. What is rule number one? We want to see a swing high being taken out. Did we take out a swing high? Yes, we did. This is the daily high, yesterday's daily high. Can you see we took out the daily high over there? You see that? We took out the daily high over there. Rule number two. After taking out a daily high, what do you expect to happen next? You expect for a lower high to be taken out, this area, right? You expect this area to be taken out. Where's your lower high? Can you see this? Low?
Yeah.
Low, low, high, low. Swing low, right? That's your area. That's your area. I basically boxed out this area for you guys as well on the 2-hourly time frame as an area of support. And can you see, this was basically my target. This was my target. Can you see how we basically had a huge shift towards the downside? 150 plus pips towards the downside. And that was the main reasoning to why I found myself looking for selling opportunities, right? Based off what the DXY was telling me. Now, can you see, I'm not just using the DXY as, you know what, the DXY is stepping inside a BOB over there. So you know what, we're going to go towards the downside. So I'm automatically just going to buy on NASDAQ. No, I'm not using it like that. I'm not using it like that. How I'm basically using it is, you know what, you still need to take into consideration, if you're looking at your DXY and you want to find yourself taking price towards the upside, you are looking for the DXY to go towards the upside, right? You still need to make sure that on NASDAQ, you have all the necessary confluences to you telling yourself or your analysis telling you that, you know what, we can have some sort of initial downside momentum, right? So this simply means that with all the actuals, with all the techniques I basically told you guys, right? You want to find yourself looking at a BOB, a bullish bearish order block. You want to find yourself looking at an area of supply and demand. You want to find yourself looking at support and resistance. You want to find yourself looking at what the higher time frame is telling you. You want to find yourself looking at an actual fair value gap. You want to find yourself looking at, you know what, is our bullish pattern, our bearish pattern showing us, or our structure showing us that we can take price towards the downside or towards the upside. All of these things you need to take into consideration first before doing anything. Now, the DXY is basically correlated with the gold as well, right? Basically all the US, everything attached to the US dollar. Now check this out. Gold. Look at gold. Can you see over here? Gold is in front, the US is at the back, right? So if the US is going towards the downside, what do you think what's going to happen with gold? Gold is going to go towards the upside. Clean, right? Clean. And if I can go to the weekly time frame and just show you, this is the weekly time frame on gold. Look at your DXY over here, right? Look at gold. Well, maybe if I can do this for you. Remove that. Maybe if I can do this for you. Weekly time frame. Well, let's use the 4-hourly time frame. Okay, H4 time frame. And then we're gonna put the DXY below. Boom, just like that. Can you see? Both of them are the 4-hourly time frame. But can you see? Look at this. Gold had a huge push towards the downside. Well, the US dollar had a huge push towards the downside. Can you see that? And look at what gold did. This is from the 8th of March. So we want to go from the 8th of March, 8th March, right about there, just like that. Can you see? Gold is the one above, DXY is the one below. Can you see? With gold pushing towards the upside, what happened with the DXY? DXY went towards the downside. They are also inverse correlated with one another. Okay, they are also inverse correlated with one another. But there's a huge difference between gold and the Nasdaq. Okay, I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that. Now, the one pair that is super correlated with our DXY is basically the Euro USD, right? The Euro USD. Now check this out. 4-hourly, 4-hourly. Euro USD above, DXY below once again. Check this out. Check this out. If I can maybe go on the daily, so use a different time zone. Check this out. DXY below, euro dollar above. Look at the euro dollar. Push towards the upside, push towards the downside. Look at the DXY. Push towards the downside,
upside.
The same movement, literally the same movement. Can you see that we created some sort of a gap above price, right? Can you see this? Well, above price, above current price now. But can you also see that
there's a gap there? Yeah,
the gap over there as well. Boom. So the DXY is literally just a tool that you can use to navigate yourself where price can potentially hit into in the near future. Okay, that's another tool you can have up your sleeve to determine your actual direction in price. Okay, now that's literally it for the DXY. That is another tool you can have up your sleeve. A summary on it. You know what? The NASDAQ is inverse correlated with the DXY. So if you are looking for overall bullish momentum on the DXY, what do you think what's going to happen on NASDAQ? NASDAQ is going to come to the downside. If you're going to look for overall selling momentum on DXY, what's going to happen on NASDAQ? NASDAQ is going to go towards the upside. But now, this is the thing. This is also one thing you need to take into consideration, right? Inflation, recession, depression, all of those factors, those economic factors you also need to take into consideration. Okay, now if I can basically go back into history, back into 1972, right? Now back in 1972, before that, this is literally when the currency, the value, the paper value of money, right? Like this thing was backed up with gold, right? The US dollar was backed up with gold. So can you see that gold is now standing in front and the US dollar is standing at the back? But back then, the US dollar was in front, gold was at the back, right? So as gold is gaining value, the dollar, the money will also gain value, right? The dollar will also gain value. Now, look at it like this. You can either look at this as, you know what, an educational decision whatsoever, or you can just simply ignore it, right? But this is something that I educated myself on, and I'm still currently educating myself on it, right? First of all, I am no guru, right? I'm not no guru. You know that I don't even like you calling me your actual mentor. I'm just a partner with you inside this game. I'm just a student inside of these markets as well. I'm not the best trader inside the actual, you know, the industry itself. What's the ball? You know what? What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to stay true to myself. I'm trying to learn what I need to learn to basically get me ahead in life whatsoever, right? Now, this may sound a little bit dramatic, right? It might sound a little bit dramatic with what I basically just made mention. But the dollar was basically taken off the gold standard. And this is basically when we needed to depend on the Fed, right? The Federal Bank. Dollar is now king. Now, the reasoning to why I basically said that you need to take into consideration such things as inflation, deflation, recession, depression, whatsoever, is because I'm going to call out something, and this is simply my opinion, right? This is simply my opinion. We all are entitled to our own opinion, okay? Now, looking at the DXY, if I can zoom out from a monthly perspective, let's just zoom it in like this. Looking at the DXY, right? Now, I bet you have heard of, you know what, people is talking about the bubble, right? This is simply saying that the Fed is printing money, right? And the more money they print, the less valuable cash becomes, right? Now, how do you grasp something like that? That was hard for me to grasp as well. And I will make a simple example first. Now, right? Now, we can see that in overall, we are going towards the downside on our actual, you know what, our DXY, right? The dollar index. Now, with that being said, inflation, right? This is something that causes all living goods to rise, right? Obviously, I'm not going to go into depth into what inflation is, what all of these things is, right? I'm just using simple examples. Now, inflation is literally pushing prices towards the upside, right? This is your normal living goods where we basically paid, you know what, 7 Rand for bread a couple of years ago. Now we are paying almost 20 Rand for bread, right? In the near future, we might be paying 30 Rand for an actual bread, right? And this is all because of inflation, right? Inflation happening, inflation rising, 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 rising. Now, with inflation rising, right, this could lead to a recession. Now, what's a recession? A recession is basically, you know what? The pandemic was actually a huge, a nice actual example of a recession, right? Now, what basically happened was many people was retrenched. You know what? Inflation, well, unemployment rate was high. Living of cost, well, cost living was high as well, and it is keep on increasing. Right now, I do believe that this was all just smoke. The pandemic was all just smoke, right? The virus, it was all just smoke. That's why I never took the actual injection. That is the main reason into why I didn't take the injection, because I looked at this whole thing as smoke, right? Yeah, this is all smoke. They're trying to paint something so that you can believe in it. And many people bought into it, right? Many people bought into it. Now, I look at it as, you know what? The Feds started printing money once again, right? The Feds started printing money once again. Now, every time the Feds is printing money, this is basically when they injure the actual dollar. They injure the dollar, right? And I'm gonna explain it. It's gonna make sense now. So yes, the pandemic was a great example of recession, right? Now, I'm calling out that, you know what, we are gonna go into a depression. Inflation, recession, you know what, it's short term, it's temporary, it can be fixed. But a deflation, well, depression, that is something that can last for months, it can last for years even, right? Now, this is basically when we're gonna find ourselves, we're already gray listed. Now, this is literally where we're gonna find ourselves, business is gonna close down. This is the extreme, business is gonna close down permanently, right? Houses is going to be taken away from people. The banks is going to take the people's houses. The bank is going to take people's cars as well. You know what? This is just a scary thing to think of, even like depression. And I do believe that we are going to go into a depression somewhere in the near future. We are going to go into a depression. And you know what? During all of these actual events, this is simply where, you know what, as inflation is going towards the upside, right? Things is becoming expensive. So what are we going to do as consumers? We're going to take our money and we're going to hold our money like this, right? We don't want to spend money. So it's like a snowball effect. It's like a snowball effect. So what is going to happen with businesses? Businesses aren't going to make a profit. So this is basically going to force them close down, right? Business is basically going to force them to close down. So if I can basically just use like a nice actual example, right? A nice example. Now, what I basically just mentioned was NASDAQ, right? So if we basically going to go into that recession, that depression stage, this is simply where, you know what, everything is going to go down. Everything is going to go down. NASDAQ is going to dump. NASDAQ is gonna dump. Right? We're not gonna have like one huge candle thrown towards downside. No, it will just be big candles. Right? Stocks will go towards the downside. Right? Stocks will go towards the downside. Why? Because we are gonna keep our money like that. Right? Keep our money like that. Now, if I can use a nice example, the reasoning to why I basically said that, you know what, gold is a different story. It's mainly because of this. I want you to focus on what I'm trying to tell you, okay? The moral of it, basically, right? So look at it like this. Gold, right? I'm going to call myself gold. I'm Mr. Gold, right? So with me being Mr. Gold, right? I have some sort of a superpower. Let's look at it like that. I have a superpower. I was here. I'm living forever. I can't even remember when I was born whatsoever, right? I'm just living forever. And I can't tell anyone that, right? I can't tell anyone that. Now, the comparison that I am making, I'm telling you that gold, silver, it is a industrial product, right? It's coming out of the earth, right? It was here before us. It's going to be here after us as well. Okay, it was here before us, it's going to be here after us as well, right? And like I made mention, in 1972, when President Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, right? This is basically when everything started. So look at it like, you know what? I Mr. Gold. And I was living, and finally I meet a friend, right? And we're gonna call friend, what can we call him? We're gonna call it Freddy, right? We're gonna call it Freddy. Now, Freddy is money, okay? Now, me and Freddy, we was good friends, right? Best buddies. We did everything together, right? Played together, ride bike together, and everything. Now, Freddy was an individual who was like a smooth talker, right? A smooth individual. Really smooth, a bright individual, right? Full of health. That is the one thing I need you to put emphasis on. Full of health, right? Now me, I'm old, you know, I'm old, but I'm also young. I can't reveal my secrets whatsoever, right? Me and Freddy, we friends, best friends. And never have I ever thought that Freddy's gonna stab me in the back, trying to do his own thing. Right? I'm trying to hold on Freddy, but you know what? Freddy was like, you know what? I'm going to go on my own and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Right? So Freddy basically went out, and Freddy was this flamboyant individual, right? Healthy, once again, healthy individual. Okay, healthy individual. Now, me and Freddy, we are boxers or UFC fighters whatsoever, but we are constant in battle with one another, right? Now, this is basically what I meant with, you know what, currencies is weakening. So Freddy was going on his own, right? Freddy went on his own, did his own thing. Now, because Freddy was so flamboyant and so shiny, full of health, you know what? Freddy have lured in all of the individuals. A lot of people Freddy attract, right? Because Freddy was so flamboyant and smooth. Literally like the industry as well, right? People rather want to find themselves buying into people who has the showing you the nice cars, showing you the nice houses, all of those things. People rather want to buy into that, right? People rather want to buy into people who's going to show you like stacks of money on their shoulder like this. And you know what? They can't even explain to you what Forex is. You know what? You get into the Excel service, you only get a PDF. Done. You get into their service, you only get one online session. Done. Right? You are set up for doom. Keep that in mind. You are set up for doom. Okay? You set up for doom. Keep that in mind. Now,
Freddie's doing his thing, right? Always boxing, winning. Until it came to a point, now it is me and Freddie that needs to fight, right? Now, me and Freddie had a nice fight. I knocked him out, boom, in the back of his head, right? I knocked him out, he's dead, stone cold down, right? They took him to the hospital. They need to save him, right? They need to save Freddie. What's the doctor's gonna do? What's the nurses gonna do? They're gonna take care of him. They're gonna do everything that they need to basically get Freddie back up once again to come fight, right? That's what they're gonna do. So what do you have? Freddie is now ready. Freddie is up, right? The appearance of Freddie seems normal, but that knock I gave him in the back of his head had left a little something there in the back of his head, right? It left something. They missed that. They can't fix it. So the appearance of Freddie looks normal, but his health is decreasing, right? Freddie's going out again. Freddie's fighting. It's coming to an all-time high once again. Me and him need to fight again, right? We're fighting again. What do you think was going to happen? I'm going to knock him out again. Knock him out. Boom. Same spot. Back of his head. To the hospital he goes. What they're going to do? Same thing. Right? This is a comparison of me trying to tell you that whenever something bad is happening, the feds will always print money to fix something. To fix the crisis at least. Right? Now, same thing with Freddie. The doctors, the nurses, they're going to do whatever it takes to get Freddie back up. So what I'm trying to tell you is, what do you think what's going to happen if Freddie keeps on going to come back and have a fight with me? I'm going to knock Freddie out once again. Again, and again. Until what? Until Freddie can't get up once again. Until they can't save Freddie no more. Depression. Right? This is basically when we're going to go into depression. And this is literally what the feds are doing. That is the cleanest way how I can explain this. And this is the cleanest way on how I understand, you know what, this whole analogy with printing money and why it's getting less valuable, right? Just like the example with Freddie. I'm going to keep on knocking out Freddie. Gold and silver is God's money. It has been here before us. It's going to be here after us. So that is the one thing you need to find yourself trying to invest in, right? That is the type of things you need to try and invest in. This thing is going to mean nothing. It's going to be worthless in the next future. It's already becoming worthless, right? So I hope you have a clean understanding of what I was trying to tell you, you know what, with that example between Freddie and me, right? It's a huge comparison. It's a huge one. It has a much deeper meaning than just me telling you this. It has a way much deeper meaning. Okay? It has a huge meaning. And you know, one thing you need to take into consideration is that the poor and the middle class is only going to get poor. The rich is only going to get richer. The poor and the middle class will only get poor. The rich is only going to get richer. That one thing of, you know what basically applied a few years ago of, you know what, going to school, go get a job, pay off your car, house, you know, that whole riddle, right? Pay off your debt. Is it applying in today's world? That's a scam. It's literally a scam.
Scam of the year.
It's a scam, a whole scam. And that thing is, you can still apply it in today's world. Yes, you can still go to school, go get a nice job, pay off your car, pay off your house, whatsoever. But you're going to be forever in debt forever, and you won't be able to live the life you basically want to live. Right? So these are the things you need to take into consideration. First, these are the things that I want you to go dive in and go do some research on it, because that is not one thing that I'm doing. I'm doing research upon these things, right? Like I spent a whole 3-4 years in front of the charts trying to figure out how the charts is moving, you know what, learning. And I feel like, you know what, now it's time to basically just branch out just a little bit, you know what, learn a little bit more extra. And this is now what I'm finding myself tapping into. This is what I'm finding myself tapping into. You know what, I don't have time to go chill and have some nice times whatsoever. And I'm not saying that that is a wrong thing. Yes, you can have it, right? But I prioritize myself always with this, with teaching myself, educating myself, right? Because 9 times out of 10, the individual that is out there, they don't care about none of these things, right? Just like back then, our parents, our grandparents, whatsoever, that was the one thing they was taught. Go to school, go get a job, pay off your car, house, pay off your debt, whatsoever, right? They were only focused on the money aspect of things. They didn't take into consideration inflation, recession, depression, all of those things. They didn't take that into consideration, right? And this is going hand in hand with your trading as well, right? You can't just focus on that one thing. I'm teaching BOB, supply and demand, You're just focusing on, you see a BOB, and now you're going to enter off that BOB. No, you don't do that. You still need to take into consideration what is happening on your higher time frame, what is structure telling you, right? Same analogy, literally. Same analogy. So, you know what? Find yourself doing some research on that as well. The average Joe out there would rather want to go out with the homies, you know what, and go get drunk, smoke some weed, go to party after party, go buy expensive clothes that can't afford, you know what, being broke. That's it. Make excuses, excuses of everything. Now, I'm not saying that you can't use all of those, you can't do all of those things. Yes, you can. Once again, what are you prioritizing yourself on? Right? The average Joe is prioritizing himself with nice time. And I don't prioritize myself with nice times. This is where I prioritize myself. We are in the financial business of things, so we need to dive into the business of things. Right? We have a whole future ahead of us. And everyone is going like this into it. And I don't believe too many people, even mentors, I don't believe that there's mentors speaking on this topic as well. No. So, you know what? I want you to find yourself doing a little bit of research upon that as well. Okay. And I hope that the DXY gave you a little bit of, you know what, confirmation to, you know what, being a nice actual indicator to how you can find yourself, you know.
Really a nice indicator.
Best
It's something, right?
The best indicator is price action. I don't mess with robots and, you know,
Bots
and stuff like that. No, I don't mess with all of those things. No. Price action. This is it. You focus on price action. You go through hell on this pay. You go through hell. You walk through that fire. Focusing on price action. I gave you guys so many things. Once again, I gave you BOB, supply and demand, support resistance, how to look at your higher time frame, fake outs. I gave you guys a lot of stuff. Trend lines, bearish, bullish, HNS, a lot. I gave you a lot of stuff. Go through how with this pay, right? Go through how. Focus on price action, because once you get it, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Never buy into signals, right? I don't buy into signals. No, I don't buy into live trading. None of those things. You know why? Because I rather want to take accountability for my actual trading. If I take a loss, cool, I'm going to take a loss. If I take a win, cool, I take a win. Right? I want to take full accountability for my trading. Because you know what? If I can do this thing on my own, come on. Who's going to stop me? No one. If you're going to buy into such things as signals, whatsoever, you know what? You're forever going to be dependent on the next man to make you money. And I don't want that. I want to make my own money. And I'm teaching you guys as well to make your own money. Literally. Literally. And that one thing called pride, put that thing aside. Right? Put that thing aside, because that's something that I can put aside. If I'm gonna fall on my face by tomorrow, next month, the month after that, I'm gonna find myself getting a job, because I look at each and every opportunity as a winner. Right? I don't look at myself as, you know what, I just took a loss, I'm a loser, I'm a failed trader or anything like that. No, no. I know that if I would have to go get a job, in a couple of months from now, I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to bounce back. And through that dip, I'm going to learn something. That's always how I look at everything. Every opportunity is a door that is opening up for me. In this industry, big house industries is going to come down, and I'm looking at that as an opportunity as well. I called it out in the beginning of this year already, and it is already happening. It's already happening. So you know what? I hope that you are ready. I hope that you are ready. I want you to play your cards fast. I need you to get into the charts as soon as possible. I don't want you to procrastinate no more. I don't want you to procrastinate no more. I want you to get into the charts and do what you need to do. Right?
Now, that was a lot. That was a lot. Now, the moral of it is literally, guys, are you aware of what is happening around you? Right? Are you aware of what is happening around you? You know, like I basically mentioned, I am no guru. I'll never claim that. I'm not the best trader out here. I'll never claim that as well. Right? But with me being saying all of these things, you can literally go back to my in my channel and see how price basically played out with all the information that I've given you guys, right? And you make your own conclusion upon that, right? The thing is, I don't want you to put me on no pedestal, right? I don't want you to put me on no pedestal. We are the only people that is doing what we are doing, right? This, what we are doing now, we are the only people that is doing it the way how we are doing it in SA that I know. Okay, covering this beautiful people, NASDAQ, focusing on this beautiful people, NASDAQ, and you know what, doing what we are doing. So you know what, if you find yourself finding this educational whatsoever, hit an actual comment below. You know what, if you like this actual content, hit that actual like button. If you didn't like it, you know what, then just hit that dislike button. You know what, if you are new to this, hit that subscribe button. I will highly appreciate it. And don't forget to go get your actual account on XM. The link is in my description. You know what, the brand will highly appreciate it, and your boy will highly appreciate it as well. You know what, I'm gonna see you guys on the next one. It's me, your boy D. I'm out.